Imagine a love so powerful that it chose suffering. Imagine a story that has echoed through history for over 2,000 years. A story of betrayal, pain, forgiveness, and hope. This is the story of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Even if you have never opened a Bible, even if you are not religious, this story speaks to something deep inside the human heart. Because it is about love, and what love is willing to sacrifice. Jesus lived in a time of oppression and fear. People were searching for hope. They were longing for freedom, healing, and meaning. Into that broken world stepped Jesus of Nazareth, not as a king with an army, but as a teacher with compassion. He spoke about love, mercy, and forgiveness, and his words changed lives. But his message would come at a great cost. Jesus traveled from town to town. He healed the sick. He gave sight to the blind. He welcomed those society rejected. He touched lepers. He spoke to outcasts. He forgave sinners. People felt seen and loved around him, but not everyone was happy. The religious leaders watched him closely. They felt threatened by his influence. They feared losing power and control. Jesus challenged their hypocrisy. He spoke truth without fear. And the more people followed Jesus, the more dangerous he seemed to those in authority. They decided he had to be stopped. As Jesus' final days approached, tension filled the air. Crowds praised him, but plots were forming behind closed doors. One of Jesus' own disciples, Judas, made a decision that would change everything. He agreed to betray Jesus for money. Meanwhile, Jesus gathered his closest followers for one final meal. He knew what was coming. He knew the suffering ahead. Yet he chose to spend his last free moments with those he loved. During the meal, Jesus did something unexpected. He broke bread and said it represented his body, which would soon be given up. He shared wine and said it represented his blood, which would be poured out for many. Then he said something shocking. "One of you will betray me." The room fell silent. They were confused. They were afraid. Judas left quietly into the night. And Jesus knew the path ahead was now set. After the meal, Jesus went to pray in the Garden of Gethsemane. The weight of what was coming pressed down on him. He felt fear. He felt sorrow. He felt pain before it even began. He prayed that if there were another way, this suffering might pass. But he ended his prayer with surrender. "Not my will, but God's will be done." This moment shows us that Jesus understood human fear. Yet he chose love anyway. Suddenly, the quiet of the garden was broken. Judas arrived with soldiers. He approached Jesus and kissed him. It was a sign of betrayal. Jesus was arrested. His disciples panicked and ran away. Jesus did not resist. He allowed himself to be taken, not because he was powerless, but because he chose this path. Jesus was taken before religious leaders. False witnesses accused him. Lies filled the room. He was mocked. He was struck. He was humiliated. Yet he remained mostly silent. Then they sent him to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Pilate questioned him and found no real guilt. But the crowd demanded his death. Pilate tried to release Jesus, but the crowd grew louder. They shouted again and again, "Crucify him." Fear of unrest pushed Pilate to give in. Jesus was sentenced to death. An innocent man condemned. The crowd chose violence over mercy, and the journey to the cross began. Jesus was whipped brutally. His body was torn and bleeding. A crown of thorns was pressed onto his head. Soldiers mocked him, calling him a king. They laughed as he suffered. Pain followed pain, yet he did not curse them. He endured. Jesus was forced to carry a heavy wooden cross. Each step was agony. He stumbled under the weight. The crowd watched. Some mocked him, some cried. A man named Simon was forced to help carry the cross. Jesus continued forward. Every step was love in motion. They arrived at the place of execution. Jesus was laid on the cross. Nails were driven through his hands and feet. The cross was lifted upright. Pain unlike anything imaginable surged through his body. Above him was a sign, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. The crowd insulted him. Soldiers mocked him. They told him to save himself, but Jesus stayed. He looked at the people hurting him and spoke words of forgiveness. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Love spoke louder than pain. Two criminals hung beside him. One mocked him. The other asked for mercy. Jesus promised that man hope beyond death. "Today you will be with me in paradise." Grace reached even there. Even in his final hours, Jesus offered forgiveness. Darkness covered the land. The sky dimmed. The moment felt heavy. Jesus cried out in anguish, my God, why have you forsaken me?" He felt the full weight of human suffering, pain, loneliness, separation. After hours of suffering, Jesus spoke again. "It is finished." He bowed his head, and he took his final breath. The earth shook. The moment was over. The sacrifice was complete. The Roman soldier watching realized something profound. Surely this man was the Son of God. The crowd grew silent. What they had demanded was now done. Jesus' body was taken down. He was placed in a tomb. A stone was rolled over the entrance. It seemed like the story had ended. Hope appeared. Buried, fear filled the hearts of his followers. But the meaning of the cross was only beginning. The cross became a symbol, not of defeat, but of love. Christians believe Jesus died for humanity, to carry pain, sin, and BROKENNESS. The cross speaks a message. You are loved. You are forgiven. You matter. Love chose sacrifice. Grace overcame judgment. Jesus' body rested in the tomb, but death would not have the final word. 3 days later, the tomb would be empty. Hope would rise. Life would overcome death. But that is another story. The cross remains a reminder. Love was willing to suffer. Forgiveness was offered freely. If this story touched your heart, pause and reflect. Share this message with someone who needs hope. Like this video so others can find it. Subscribe for more stories told simply and clearly. No matter who you are, no matter where you've been, love was willing to die for you.